it actually transitions into executive coaching, executive assistance type stuff at that time, because you're trying to get the person to realize advisor type role. You're trying to get that person to understand you're off course. You're just so familiar with being off course that it feels like it's where you're supposed to be. But in reality, you're way off course, and we've got to now get you to evaluate how you want to get back on course. So does that kind of answer each one?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Now, and again, this was just me trying to show you a quick scenario. You always want to get something that acknowledges the person or the group that you're meeting with. And because that makes them feel good, because now what? They automatically feel like they're included. You know, they're like, hey, I was recognized. Then from here, what typically, these are the more general ones that show up. This one I love, because it can say so much without people even realizing the impact. And I intentionally do this a lot of times this way. Anyone know right offhand what that's supposed to be? Now for the group front, I know they see me do it all the time.
That's a relationship sign, and then
It is like a relationship. That's one that you pick up the core part of. That's actually Atlanta.
oh yeah,
That is Atlanta. Right. Now, the power of this is that no matter what, people are going to describe something in some geographical space. They're going to describe something in some geographical space. Right? So when we meet with people here in Atlanta, I know they're going to be talking about some area of Atlanta, some region or some quadrant of Atlanta. And technically there's 5 quadrants. You got what's inside of 285, you got the northwest corridor, you got the northeast corridor, you got the southeast corridor, you got the southwest corridor. And again, with a visual, I can get you right to where they're talking about where the impact is going to be. Why are we meeting if we're not talking about impacting somebody? Why are we meeting if we're not talking about where this impact is going to take place? There are certain conclusions that we know we can draw about what's the final product. The final product is going to be in some type of audience. And we were talking about this yesterday with Mike Hill and the guys on the conference call. That final product can end up being a media component on the web, on TV, radio, newspaper, magazines, right? That final product is going to be something, a billboard. That final product is going to be a workbook, a worksheet. It's going to be some kind of document. Is it a product itself? Is it a physical, tangible product? Where are we trying to actually deliver this thing? Where is this taking place? So having done this, and we're going to go ahead and use Atlanta as an example. And the beauty of this is, and it's so unique because I can show you your power, just how powerful just this little simple diagram becomes. Remember, I pulled out YC, and YC was talking about that corporation. I easily could have said to YC, you talking about a corporation here in Atlanta? They're like, yes. I'm like, where is it in Atlanta? They said, where is it? It's in Midtown, in Buckhead. I know that region right about there is Midtown, Buckhead, right? I know that, you know, oh, by the way, let me put the compass on it. North, south, east, and west. North, south, east, and west. And since the majority of people from Atlanta are not from Atlanta, most people have never really thought about this. And so it's that first time being able to really examine this. And what I love about it, just by doing this drawing, what have I done? I've taken you to a 3,000-foot view already. And we're looking down, and we're now watching the transactions, the movement of Atlanta, just on this one diagram. And so I'm easy then at that point, I can actually use this one single diagram to explain everything about commerce in Atlanta. Every single thing about commerce in Atlanta can be explained from this one little diagram. Now again, remember, our goal is not there to try to appraise what the person is saying. Initially, it's to try to just download and process what they're saying. But typically, if a person says something to me and they tell me what region of Atlanta they're talking about, on the back end, we do a lot of research, a lot of data research. So we've studied zip codes, we've studied markets and communities and industries, and we do a lot in those markets and communities and industries in Atlanta. So what most people don't realize, Highway 20, if I go 20 west and I keep driving until I can't drive anymore, where will I end up? And see, everybody thinks about the next state over.
Well, I mean, you said in, because I know
it does go all the way to Texas. Highway 20 is the second longest highway in the United States. It goes to LA. 20 west will take you all the way to LA. And see, look how fast just from the way everybody's thinking about it in the room. Now, to me, that's important, just that by itself. But in my mind, as a business consultant, that's the primary role we end up playing. As a business consultant, I know that's commerce. I know that's where most of the trucks, if they're going from East Coast to West Coast, they're traveling that path because they can cover 13, 14 states. You know, they're gonna come across that whole southwest corridor, and they're gonna go across. It connects to Highway 10 in Arizona, and Highway 10 actually goes all the way into LA. So on this side, you're gonna go all the way to California. On this side, you're gonna go pretty much to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That's just off of 20 by itself. So on Fridays, like a day like today, Fridays when that traffic is bad in Atlanta, that's why them trucks didn't hit through there. That's because people are traveling too. We have that influx of everybody hitting this highway system, and very few cities have what Atlanta's done. But I've done the same thing. Even when I was in South Africa, I did a drawing like this to show the coast of South Africa, and then when we would assemble it, and I showed it through the highway system. Because at the end of the day, commerce happens over a highway. It happens over some kind of function. Now, nowadays, of course, it happens over the internet.